Hello guys. Hi, this is Jen. Welcome to our Gospel Tea House channel. Um, I got a little bit of free time today, and also early Happy Easter. In the next few days, I'm probably gonna be a little bit busy, but today, I want to talk about something interesting. Um, it's about a propaganda system of China and also a book I read before. So nowadays, like we talked about in the last episode, we have so much information, no matter is um, created by a human or it was generated by artificial intelligence, which is AI, right? We got so many. I call it trash information, and we can see it on YouTube. We can see it on TikTok, all platforms, YouTube Shorts, everything. And sometimes when you read news or information on YouTube or Twitter or X, you will find, hey, there are lots of short videos. Um, the background music, BGM or the voice is the same with another video. So, then you can tell that it's generated by AI. As a Chinese, we got more trash information than you guys, than American. Well, I'm gonna say that's um, my personal feeling. So there is a term called content farm. Content farm um, is a kind of organization, or I shouldn't say organization, but it's a kind of system can um, produce lots of trash information every day with AI, with some kind of software. So I had lots of friends who were curious about what is the propaganda system like in China. So when we talk about propaganda, there are different steps, in the propaganda system. When you want to manipulate people, you have to create a fake enemy for the people. Um, for example, in China, they will be like, "Hey, uh, some foreigners from certain countries, they are your enemy," or they will be like, "Hey, Japanese people are your enemy because they used to invaded us back to World War II, and till today they still hate us, this or that." That's what they always say in China. They teach kid about that. They put the hate, the kind of hate into the kid's mind every day since they were in elementary school. So you create an enemy first, and then you tell people, if you don't do this, that, one, two, three, then the enemy will ruin your life, will ruin your lifestyle. Um, the enemy will come to take your stuff, your properties, this or that, and those kind of lies. And then when you have, when you created a fake enemy, and also you put the fear and hate into people's heart, and then you can use nationalism to manipulate people's mind. That was what they were doing all the time in China. So I call it a brainwash system. But the core logic of the system is like this. When you use nationalism to make people, all the people, believe in one kind of ideology, and then you can control the society. Of course, there are lots of people, they will not believe the brainwash system, they will not believe the propaganda. But in a country that there's no freedom of speech, um, there's no other freedoms, like you cannot mm, publish whatever you want, people will not have that many channels to get other voices, to get other opinions. So in a country, if you only hear one kind of opinion, that is horrible. That is really scary. So I always like, that is another reason that I would love to have a conversation with brothers and sisters in my church, um, because I would love to hear different opinions. I would love to hear different experience from different people, from different people's life, from their family, because if I know more about their family, their experience, and their thought on Bible and their spiritual experience, then it's gonna be a really good chance, a really good opportunity for me to have some growth spiritually, right? I had a talk with my old friend. Um, Now he is busy on something, but he used to tell me one thing. He is much older than me. He said, "Jin, you know what? The beauty, the beauty of a free society is people can have different opinions. Then you can have a conversation with people. The conflict, the different opinion actually make the society beautiful." So anyway, let's go back to the propaganda system. So in China, if you want to watch news, you have a few channels like TV, um, magazines, right? Newspaper, and also we have a thing called Weibo, which is copycat of Twitter or X. We also have Red Note. I'm gonna say Red Note is kind of like not really Instagram, but it's a kind of weird mixture of Yelp and also Instagram. So that is kind of weird thing. Um, Social media is really well developed in China, but the thing is, the information on Chinese social media usually will not go to another country. Like in America, you can read your news on Twitter, right? But you will not really go to use Weibo or something like that to get news from China. So all the information in China are very seriously filtered by the system. The system will monitor all the voices, all the opinions online, and if that opinion or that news is not allowed under that kind of environment, under their standard, then it will be censored for sure. So when we look at the propaganda system of China, we can compare it with Nazi Germany. So usually when we talk about communism, when we talk about communists, when we talk about Nazi, they are actually, well, far left and far right. No matter how you want to call it, but communists and Nazi, they are far left and far right, and they are actually the different side of of the same coin. They are actually brothers. Um, so if you really look into history, if you read about the strategy of Nazi Germany, and if you really analyze the strategy of the communist China today, you will find lots of common things. There's a book What was the name? Let me think about it. The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich. It was written by well, I forgot his name, but you can definitely check it on Google. So that is my favorite book about Nazi Germany. It gives you lots of information of how did Nazi Germany use lots of false information and they twist the reality to control people, to use the nationalism to start a war, to prepare for the war, all kind of things. So they control the newspaper, right? They control the radio, everything. It basically same as what I said before. Like in China, they create a enemy for you, a fake enemy, and they want you to hate. They want you to hate. They want you to have fear. When you have hate and fear, then you will fall for nationalism. Once you fall for nationalism, then they will be able to control your mind. So if you have time, you can feel free to read about this book. I believe you can find it in lots of libraries. It's pretty popular actually. And you can also find it on Amazon, I believe, also on Kindle. So when we have lots of false information, when we have lots of twisted news from the media got manipulated by China or by Russia. Well, we're not living in Nazi Germany anymore, right? Then it's gonna be a challenge, a spiritual challenge to us. There is a pastor, I really like him. I really like his books. I really like his story. I really like lots of thought from him. His name is Bonhoeffer. And there is also a movie called Bonhoeffer. It was made by Angel Studio. I believe you can find it on Hulu or, well, I forgot the platform, but you can definitely find it online. So Bonhoeffer was a pastor back to Nazi Germany, and he wrote a book. The name was The Cost of Discipleship. And there's also another book about him is The Letters and something from prison. Well, you can definitely find it on Amazon. So he went through the Nazi Germany time. He went through the time that church got controlled by the state, and also lots of things got twisted, got manipulated. He went through that time, and his story was very inspiring. If you read into it, you will be like, wow. You will have lots of new thought about faith. But I'm not gonna give out any thought at here because reading is a really enjoyable process. So if you are interested in it, please feel free to get a book from Amazon or from library. But the core logic of spreading the false information, of twisting the reality, of controlling the news, is actually about detach people from reality. So they don't want you to understand. They don't want you to see the reality. They want you to believe in another man-made reality. Then they will be able to manipulate you. So that is why when my friend asked me, "Hey Jin, what is living in China like?" I said there are two ways. One way is a very exhausting life, which is means you. So if you are looking for the truth, then you will have to think independently every single second to figure out what is the reality, what is the political agenda hiding behind the propaganda. You will have to think about it. Or the second way is you can fall for the propaganda. You can fall for the hate. You can fall for the fear they want you to have, and you can fall for the nationalism. If you speak Mandarin, or if you can read Mandarin, if you read the news from China, you will be like, wow, those news are full of hate, full of fear, full of nationalism. It will be like, oh, Japan is our enemy, so we must hate them. Or America is our enemy, we must hate them. Or, that foreigner did this, that foreigner did that, and the police officer just arrest them. This kind of information, you can always see it on the Chinese social media. But meanwhile, you can also see lots of Chinese influencers on Instagram. Some of them, or I could say maybe 60 or 70% of them, well, that is just God's feeling. Okay? But lots of them, I believe they're also part of the propaganda system. Like I said before, I never thought our channel, our YouTube channel, will be popular. We will have lots of followers. No. I told Wesley, I said, bro, I don't think our channel will be really popular. And I don't mind it at all. Because I cannot be the kind of influencers. I cannot be like that. I cannot be the kind of YouTuber only make content for getting likes, for getting, the benefit to get a payment from the ad from YouTube. So our channel will be like this for a while, I think. And our key purpose is still like spreading the truth and spreading the gospel, and also planting the seed in people's heart. So as long as we can plant the seed in one person's heart, it's worth it. But anyway, when you see lots of hate and fear and false information on social media, imagine that. Imagine that everything is staged around you. It will change your mentality. It will change your mentality. It will change your change the reality in your head. So you will be detached with what is actually happening in China's society. And then they can manipulate you. So under this situation, you will have to read lots of books. You have to read independently. You have to have lots of deep thinking process by yourself. Meditate. And then you can see, okay, how should I react to this propaganda? How should I spiritually live healthy under this situation? It's lots of job. It's a lots of job. And nowadays, it's actually getting worse. Because as long as you speak Mandarin, like I said before to my friend, I said, hey, Chinese Mandarin is heavily polluted by politics, by the propaganda system of China. And nowadays, as long as you speak Mandarin or you read Mandarin, then it's going to be really difficult, because you also get the information from China, the false information, the twisted news, the manipulated news. You get it all the time. So I spoke with one of my friends, and he was majored in, well, I forgot his major, but he was like, hey man, I want to be a journalist someday. And he told me, hey man, here is what we learned in the class. If you want to be a journalist, then you have to verify the source of your information. He said in our industry, in the news industry, if you cannot have two sources of that information, then you cannot use it. You cannot post it. You cannot rely on that information. You cannot trust it. I think it also applies to our daily life. Especially if you speak Mandarin, if you read Mandarin news, you will have to verify it. You will have to probably check the news, to check the news report from other countries, from the media of other countries. So that is why I always believe to read a book I like, also read a book I don't like is such an important thing. Because I want to have different opinions. I want to have voice from different side, from different people. And then I can see what kind of information I should accept, what kind of information I should get. Now, this process is not going to be easy, but we have to do it because we have to remain balanced in such a time that we have lots of false information and fake news, twisted news and manipulated news. So I do have two Bible verses that I want to share with you guys here. So today's episode is not going to be super long. The first one is Proverbs chapter 18, verse 13. To answer before listening, that is folly and shame. So when I have to, sometime if I have to get some information from the news of China, then I always think about this verse. If my friend asks me, hey man, what you think about this? Hey, this is what happened in China. What do you think about it? I usually will not answer immediately. If my friend is sitting in front of the screen now, he will know what I'm talking about because sometimes he send me something. He'll be like, hey bro, this is what I see. Mandarin news. Well, it's not actually Mandarin news, but it's from Mandarin media, but they also have the English version. And I probably won't reply in 1 or 2 days, or maybe 3 days, or maybe a week. Sometimes I'm just super busy, but I will have to verify what he sent to me because he is my friend. I love him. I love him as my brother, so I want to reply him in a responsible way. So I will verify it, and then I will do the background check for the media he sent to me, and then I'll be like, hey man, as Chinese, as your brother, I don't think that is reliable, or I think that one is reliable. And the second Bible verse is the First Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 21. Test everything. Hold on to what is good. And I had talked with my friend about this verse before. You can understand this verse in multiple different ways. But I do think it's really inspiring under this kind of environment when we have so much trash information or false information. But let me know what you think about the First Thessalonian chapter 5, verse 21. If you have any opinions or if you have anything want to share with me, feel free to leave a comment. Leave a comment below, or you can also send email to us. But anyway, guys, stay strong. God bless. And don't forget to subscribe and give me a like. See you next time. Bye bye.